Hello everyone, welcome to the channel. This is an unusual video to my usual subscribers. If you run into this, you probably didn't get notified about this video because it's different than what I usually do, which is reacting to music, stuff like that, reacting to stuff. But, as you know, there is politics in our lives, and I believe it is a huge part of our life, whether we like it or not. Regardless of how you feel, just keep an open mind. But today I'll be reacting to Asmongold. I don't even know who that is, to be honest with you. I ran through, I came across his page a few times, but I never really sat there and watched him. I think I watched one of his videos talking about Dr. Disrespect, but don't know much about him. But apparently he was talking about, what is it called? Palestine and Muslim culture and all of that. As you know, I grew up as a Muslim. Cheers to that. I'm not a practicing one, obviously, but I know, I will just say I know enough about all Abrahamic religions to be able to, hold my end when speaking about them. Of course, I could be wrong at times, and I stand corrected on most cases. And just keep an open mind. If I give you any misinformation, just instead of bashing, enlighten me. Or shut the fuck up. Respectfully. But, again, keep an open mind. I don't want to take too long in introducing you to this video, even though I am. I couldn't find the original video, so I found the one where Nick Mercs react to it. I love Nick. He's one of my favorite. He's actually the reason why I started streaming. He's one of the first streamers I watched. It was during the pandemic, and that's when I started watching him, the golden age of Call of Duty. I know as of late he turned more into politics, and, in my life I speak a lot about politics. So, hey, let's go. Let's watch it. Share, like, and subscribe. Keep an open mind.
Sorry about the break. Hurricane Milton. No power, no internet, yada yada, but we're back. And in today's video, we gotta...
Obviously, I'm here for Asmongold, whatever his name is, so I'll just
forward. Beat.
Do.
Okay, here we go.
Peace and love, gang.
Peace and love, gang. I think that people are just tired of being told what to do by people that self-identify as their mental illnesses, right? Like, I just don't want to be told what to do. I don't want to be told what to think. I don't want to...
This is like the meme they did. A guy reacting to a guy reacting to another guy. So here I am. 3 reactions in one, bro. Hey, Nick Mercs, don't fucking strike my video. Thanks.
Be judged.
What are you talking
about? Talked down to. I just don't want to deal with that, right? I don't want to deal with the person telling me what to do. Like, it doesn't really matter, like, what the reasoning is for it, or, like, whether you think that you're in the right or not. Just stop telling me what to do, period.
Facts.
That's it. Don't tell me what to do. Don't tell me
what to do.
What to say, unless I am breaking the law or threatening harm on somebody.
I see his point of view. Yes, sure, don't tell anybody what to do, but at the same time, we are a society, and society built on togetherness and shit like that, so it's okay to tell somebody your opinion or give feedback, I guess what they call it, constructive criticism, if that makes sense. But it's nothing wrong with that, I feel. That's okay. I mean, if you tell somebody, hey, I think your point of view on this thing might be, misunderstood or skewed, whatever the case may be, I think perhaps you need to look at it from this perspective, and that might actually bring shed a light on the situation that they were unfamiliar with before. So I disagree with that. We're not even 1 second.
Like I said earlier, just leave people the fuck alone, right? And 15 flags in their bio. As I said, the nightmare
people
rotation.
That know me,
By the way, that Jack
that people that know me knows how I feel about that. So I'll just...
Duarte picture in the back was crazy.
Of having the Palestine flag and the trans or the gay flag in your bio. I think that they should do something where every single person who has both of those flags in their bio gets permanently banned. I feel like it would just be doing everybody a...
What happened? I thought you just said, don't tell me what to do. How are you going to do that and then try to ban other people? Hypocritical much? If you don't want anybody to tell you what to do, then you shouldn't tell anybody else what to do.
Favor. It's
Both
so
ways,
dumb.
baby. Both
Yeah,
ways.
they definitely don't support gay rights in Palestine. So it is always interesting to see, like, you know, the cadence on Twitter when it's the Palestinian flag and then like the gay flag and the trans flag. like, I mean, if this was
To Nick's point, no, they do not, obviously. But at the same time, it's a cultural thing, right? It's the same thing that happened during the World Cup 2020, when people go to Qatar and expect Qatar to abide by their culture, by the rules. No, you're in their hometown. You gotta respect the rules. Not everybody lives the way the West lives, right? In Iraq, for example, you might not know this, but we drink. We have clubs. We have mosques. We have churches. You know, we have places of worship. We have Yazidis. We have, you know, multiple religions. And we all get along. That's fucking society. You might know not this because you think probably Iraq is just a desert, which is not. It's actually a beautiful place. You should fucking visit. If you don't believe me, look up, you know, there's plenty of YouTube videos of Americans and other citizenships that visited that country that don't look like anything, you know, that don't even speak Arabic, and they visited the country and they had a blast. You know what I mean? And I'm sorry if you go there and you have a bad experience, but hey, it is what it is. Regardless, yeah, let's go.
it was algebra, they would kind of like cancel each other out, right? Like, there's no way. Do you understand? You know?
Yeah, but at the same time, just because you believe in something, so if just because I'm Christian, it doesn't mean that I'm gonna look at a Muslim that's going through hardship and be like, fuck him. They don't support me. Let me just shit on them and fuck them. They all should die, and vice versa. The same thing goes for those Muslims that, you know, that celebrated 9/11. That's fucked up because, you know, at the same time that could have easily happened to you. And funny enough, years later, that happened to a lot of Muslim countries that had nothing to do with it, like Iraq, for example. But you know, it goes every other way. So it's hypocrisy when you speak about a nation or a culture and you're like, oh, you can criticize. Sure, you can criticize, but at the same time, you can't force your own point of view on your own way of living on others, right? It goes the same thing on this, like our block right here. I'm sure if I go the house across the street, their values is different than our values. And that's the beauty of a healthy society. We can all get along, but we can all have different point of views. We don't have to fight about it. We don't have to argue about it. We can sit down in a civil manner and discuss it and get along and move on.
Don't forget Ukraine. Well, Ukraine isn't antithetical to gay rights in the same way that Palestine is. It's
Sure, buddy, but Ukraine had, before the war, I don't know if you know this, you can look it up yourself. Before the war, Ukraine had one of the highest human trafficking in the world. They were a society that is not very well stable, crimes and other shit, but mainly human trafficking. Regardless, man, it's Ukraine thing is a little more sensitive. It's beyond, it's not good and evil, and I'm not defending Russia, but at the same time, you're poking the bear, right? Ukraine is just fell of a victim of a Western and Russia propaganda, if that makes sense, in my point of view at least. You know, like when you sit there and you're like, oh, I'm gonna bring NATO right next to your door. It's like the missile crisis, the Cuban Missile Crisis. What did the United States do when Russia brought missiles right next door? They were about to go all out war until they removed it. So that is that. It goes both ways again.
just not the same thing. Yeah, they get a free trip to Palestine. Yeah, exactly. Is banning not freedom? It's not. But these people have been too free for too long. You know. Why do they call specific countries racist when they themselves are racist and need help? I have no idea.
Every country is racist. You can't change my mind. Okay, I should say this. The laws might not be racist, but there is racism in every country. That's what I meant. There is racism here, there is racism there is racism everywhere. The most racism I experienced was actually in Jordan. Shout out to all my Jordanian friends. But that's the most racism I experienced against their own Arabs. So that is that. But again, that's my own personal experience. Somebody else might go there and have a fucking wonderful time, and I wish you the best.
Yeah, honestly. Yeah, I don't know. Ukraine fell off? Well, I don't think Ukraine fell off. I think that Russia
It's the most chat comment ever. Ukraine fell off.
fell off, and Ukraine has been able to
Man's
hold them
brain
back in
rot.
a big way, and Ukraine is they've even launched counterattacks into
Which
Russia.
all failed.
So Ukraine
Yeah, this motherfucker is informed by CNN solely. As soon as he said, "Oh, Ukraine is doing great," no, they're not.
is doing quite well, I would say.
Yeah, I say,
And I think
yeah,
that
yeah.
honestly,
CNN right there.
things are going pretty much about as
I don't know
good
enough
as they
about
possibly could go.
the
Ukraine is
Ukraine stuff,
is
man.
nationalistic and a racist country, and it supports
Ever.
Nazism.
By the way, if you notice something, Russia is not really using their own fully military type of shit. That war on Ukraine is very different than any war. It's not really head-on war, if that makes sense. It's more of a proxy, you know what I mean? Like, hey, the West, let's fund as much money as we can and weapons and all of that shit. Fuck the people that die in the process as long as we can weaken Russia. And Russia is like, oh, let me just send everybody mercenaries. Because most of the people that's fighting on the front line in Ukraine, they're not really Russian military, right? They're not, brigades made out of fucking Serbians and shit. So, and if you don't believe me, just do a little more digging and you'll find out. As if Russia's winning or Ukraine winning, in my opinion, nobody wins a fucking war. As long as people die from both sides, that's it, you lost. But in reality, Ukraine is getting their shit pushed in. That's the reality. Whether you say, oh, they counterattacked, I know the recent counterattack where they pushed in 40 kilometers into Russia, that was a fucking cushion. It was border area that didn't really mean shit. It was all farms and shit. But regardless, it's a win. It is a win. But at the same time, they got their shit pushed in literally a week later. So, and literally, if Russia wanted to show their teeth, which I think still they don't show their teeth, people fail to understand that they haven't used any of the shit they have. They haven't used, their intercontinental missiles. They haven't used any of this shit. Like, they just used the mother of all bombs, 3 weeks ago? One time. So they haven't even shown anything, in my opinion. They're just using old school artillery and trench warfare, whatever.
Yeah, well, when you find me some videos of Ukrainians going around and collectively stoning or killing a person for being gay, like they do in places like Palestine, then
They don't really do that in Palestine, by the way. If you would have said Yemen, I'll be like, yes, possibly. If you would have said Saudi Arabia 30 years ago, I'll be like, yes, possibly. Maybe not 30 years, 20 years ago, I'll give you that. If you would have said, let's see, Afghanistan, I'll be like, yeah, of course, still probably happening. If you would have said Pakistan, I'll be like, yeah, possibly. But Palestine don't do that. Saudi Arabia currently don't do that. They actually just abolished the Sharia police, which they had previously. They abolished it when Bin Salman took over. Their current, prince or king, whatever you want to call him. Wali al-Ahd, we call him in Arabic, but yeah.
I can say that the
King
two
to be.
things aren't congruent. But until I find pictures and videos of that, I'm going to say that Palestine and trans rights or Palestine and LGBT rights, these are two things that you can't support at the same time. You can't.
You can support whatever the fuck you want. I thought you were standing up for freedom. What happened to that? Is it all your freedom you want to stand up to, not others? Goes both ways, baby.
Do it. It's so annoying. And I think that if you see a person that's
I don't
doing that on
understand why
Twitter,
they do.
You know that they are a vapid, emotionally charged.
I thought Nick Merckx grew up in a Arabic, environment. I thought he was Arab somewhat. He keeps saying Habibi a lot in a lot of his streams. I thought he grew up in Dearborn, which is literally infested with Palestinians, Lebanese, Iraqis, the whole fucking Middle East there.
Baby that puts no thought into anything that they say or do. And all they're doing is looking to have the right opinion about the current thing.
Right.
That's all they're doing.
That is
Yeah, they're
true.
just
That is
exhausting
true.
humans, man. They're just
Yeah, that is true.
online 24/7.
Liberal behavior.
100 different Twitter accounts, all with the same stuff, same tweets, same energy. Just tiresome humans, man.
About USA Overlord stuff, all right? Yeah, exactly, right? Imagine defending Russia. Well, I mean, hey, here's the thing. I'm not really like I don't want to get involved with that kind of stuff either. But
Why is that so bad? I mean, I understand Russia is the enemy of the United States, supposedly. But at the same time, we went through a period where Russia and the United States, fought even together at times. If you want to look it up for yourself, we fought at, what do they call them? The Basque countries, right? And Europe, we fought together in Syria. So it's actually, I would look forward for us being allies over enemies, because why are we even fucking enemies? This shit doesn't make sense. To me, it doesn't make sense. Like, okay, I get it. During the Soviet Union, yeah, sure. But Russia currently is we shouldn't be enemies. And we should have never threatened to make Ukraine a NATO country. That was the buffer zone. You know what I mean? And Ukraine could have strived on its own. And if you want to, I can go through the rabbit hole of Ukraine, how we actually had a major hand in overthrowing officially elected president that was somewhat backed by Russia. And literally they did a coup that was led by the CIA that put somebody else there that supports the Western ideology. So, hey, bro, when you fucking talk about something, when you have a platform like that, you better be fucking informed and not just fucking running your mouth.
But that's it. People's talking shit about Ukraine is a big self-report. Well, I understand like there are like complaints that people have about Ukraine. I think some of them are fair. But overall, I would say that Palestine is definitely much less aligned.
I live in DC and there's 1,000 potholes going to work. So fix that instead of giving money to Ukraine or Russia, Israel, China. I don't give a fuck who. Don't give money to nobody. Focus on fucking United States. United States first.
With us than Ukraine is. If you're not sure about that, look at who Palestine supported in World War II, right?
Who Palestine supported in World War II? Palestine supported in World War II. Yeah, they supported the British. They actually fought with the British in Giza against the Germans. That's who they supported.
Pretty simple. So yeah.
Yeah, that is pretty simple. What is he trying to get at? Because the whole issue that he's talking about right now was created by the British. The British didn't want the European Jews in Europe because no country wanted them in Europe. So they were, talking about sending them to Argentina. They were like, no, let's send them to Africa. They're like, no, let's send them to the promised land. Which, this is all God's fault, bro. Like, think about it. 3 religions and their fucking holy land is fucking Palestine. Like, out of the whole earth, bro, they couldn't fucking pick. Okay, Muslims, I want you to just stick to Mecca. Forget about Palestine, even though Muhammad prayed there and shit. And Christians, forget about Palestine. How about you just go to Rome or Roma or whatever, right? And then Jews, let's just go to Scotland or like separate these motherfuckers. He ended up putting the whole 3 in one fucking place. Actually, if you think about it, the people that should be fighting the hardest for it are the Christians, because that's the home. Bethlehem is where Jesus was born and all of that. And at the same time, if you actually read about it, prior to 1948, prior to all of that, there were multiple religions living there. It wasn't just Muslims. It wasn't a really Muslim country, you know what I mean? There was actually a lot of Christians. And still there is a lot of Christians there, especially in the West Bank. But even in Iraq, before even the 2003 war, there was more Christians then, of course. But after, the whole ISIS, it was the whole Shia militias that, was too much shit going on in Iraq. And that's a different subject. If you want me to talk about it, I will definitely love to, since I lived there all the way until 2006. So I lived through the war. But yeah.
You can not want a genocide and also want rights for gay people? No, you can't. Because the people that want that you're like fighting against the genocide for would genocide gay people. No, you can't. Nope. They're the ones that.
I like how I just noticed me and Nick Merckx had the same reaction because I'm processing what he said. Yeah.
Are going to like if they had their rights, they would be genociding gay people.
It's an understandable
point
that
that he's
making.
I'm not going to create a genocide tier list.
This part,
but it's
anyway.
It's black and white.
They're all bad.
Like the way he's talking is just black and white. He doesn't have any advanced intellect, with all due respect. I'm not trying to call him stupid, but I'm just saying he's just black and white. Oh, these people are all bad. These people are all good. These people cannot mesh with these people, so I'm going to hate on these people and love these people and fuck the other guys. These guys are good, blah, blah, blah. You know what I mean? So it's his point of views are just very, very immature. Does that make sense?
It's literally so simple. Are you insane? What kind of take is this? It's a fact. It's a fucking fact. Like it's so obvious.
Speaking about this situation, nothing is factual. Like things have been changed and influenced historically, so not a lot of it is very fact. Like,
yes, to anybody who's not retarded. Anybody see this on Reddit? Yeah, there you go. And be a good tier list. People cannot comprehend that they're trying to normalize tolerating the intolerant. You're literally creating a tier list by not supporting them because there's someone else on the list? No, I'm not. I'm not supporting any of it. Absolutely not. I'm not supporting a group of people that would, kill a gay person or a trans person for existing. I'm not going to support that group of people in any context. Absolutely not. No. It's not even a question. These people would be the ones doing the genociding if they had the power. They would be doing it. Their laws currently enable them to do it. If you want to consider a genocide as a systematic...
What laws? Palestine laws or Israeli laws? There is no Palestinian government. Yeah, I know you're going to say Gaza is run by Hamas, blah, 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 voted. That happened like literally 10 years ago, less than 10 years, like 5 years ago. What laws? It's Israel, pretty much.
Killing of a group of people, they have genocide built into Sharia law right now.
Okay, he does not understand shit about shit, with all due respect. Sharia law. So what is Sharia law? Sharia law is a law that some Muslim countries follow, which is basically a combination of the Holy Book, the three previous holy books, which is the Torah, the Quran, the Bible, because it's a continuous to Muslims. So to Muslims, all Abrahamic religions is a continuous. The only reason they don't follow a lot of the Torah or a lot of the Bible, because the Bible has been changed way too many times for them to actually rely on it as a reliable source of a word of God. But the Quran has never changed since the day it existed. Also, they follow the Hadith, which is the word of or the life of Muhammad, which I actually do not agree with because it's a word of mouth, and I do not agree with that. And I feel like that's how a lot of new Christianity is, which is just a word of mouth. A few guys sat in the church and was like rewriting, oh yeah, gays is forbidden 6 years ago. Well, times have changed. There is more gays. Let's capture more gays. So let's delete it and put gay flags on every single church there is. I know I'm going to offend a lot of people, but that's the fact. That's how it went. The other thing too, Sharia law is not practiced in Palestine. Sharia law is not practiced in almost any Arab country in the Middle East. Sharia law is only practiced in countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, Saudi Arabia previously, not anymore. Let's see who else. Yemen. So the Houthis law, yes, that is kind of Sharia law, but it's Shia. So it's not really Sharia law because they don't follow, much of a Muhammad ruling. But Iran is different. It's not really Sharia law. It's their own Muslim way, which is the Muslim way. Now, do people do stupid shit in the name of Sharia law? Of course, yes, which had nothing to do with Sharia law. In Islam, you're actually not allowed to kill anybody, unless, they committed a heinous crime. So in Islam, it says, what does it say? I forgot the ayah. Basically, somewhere along the lines, just like in the Bible, one shall not kill, blah, blah, blah. But in Islam, it's a little bit harsher, like saying if you kill one, you basically killed the whole world, equivalent to it, at least. But yeah, so even in Iraq, as I mentioned, Syria, Lebanon, definitely not Lebanon, Egypt, all of them, none of them follow Sharia law. I think he needs to travel. I Asmongold, whatever his name is, he needs to travel. He needs to go to like Saudi Arabia for a week. He needs to go to Egypt for a week. He needs to go to Iraq for a week just to see how people live. Because I think in his own little bubble, he probably think, my mother wears a hijab and niqab and all of that. Well, her hair is as free as ever. I'm drinking a beer. So cheers to you, buddy. And your whole fucking horrible perspective on things. Uninformed perspective. CNN perspective.
So no, I'm not going to cry a fucking river when people who have genocide that's baked into their laws are getting genocided. I don't give a fuck. They're
Nah. Yeah, this nigga's fucked up. Nah. I know that he just got banned too. So, yeah.
terrible people. It's not even a question. It's crazy that people don't see it that way.
Okay. Listen, I know you guys already know your boy. I'm on the team where it's you should be able to speak your mind, have opinions, share those opinions. I'm a firm believer in that. And I've had to deal with all kinds of hate and shit for speaking my beliefs. And I'm okay with that. But I've already been through the ring.
Look at my
But
baby
that
sleeping,
said,
bro.
I think the comments that I've made about some things and the comments he's making right now are definitely very different. This is just ignorance. This is a guy that doesn't understand any of the situation because he's not there. Now, I'm not there either.
You don't have to be there to understand, brother. Sometimes you just gotta get informed. You gotta, get different perspectives. I understand right now in the age of technology, we all have, and unfortunately with the way the algorithm works, it shows you things that you already kind of, if you have a set point of view on things, it will feed into it. Like, I'm an Arab conservative, right? I'm openly conservative. I would never be voting for Harris because I don't think she's a good candidate. All of that, right? But at the same time, given that that's what I search, Trump speeches, all of that, because I like to be informed. At the same time, I do with Kamala too. But a lot of times, the shit that be coming out of my timeline is extremely racist, extremely against me as a conservative. Like, imagine me as a conservative, if I would have met these people that are other conservatives and we agree on so many things when it comes to America and even foreign policy, but it probably as soon as they hear who I am and what my name is and what my background is, they probably take the perceived point of view that they have or the perceived personality trait that they have on me and be like, oh, this motherfucker's a racist, you know what I mean? Or a terrorist, right? And that's the problem with the world, right? That's the problem with certain individuals. I'm not saying everybody. Of course, I love the people that free think, that, actually study these things. I'm not saying the Middle East is perfect, by the way. There's a lot of issues. There's a lot of issues everywhere. There's issues here. I mean, for the love of fucking God, if you have our congressmen and women can easily be bribed or donated to in the name of not passing a bill. That's the biggest issue in my opinion, right? But yeah, man, it is what it is. I think that's a big problem. Also, I feel like as of recent, and one mistake I have on Trump, now I do believe that religion is an anchor of society. I do believe that it's a good thing to society because it keeps us in check. It doesn't matter the religion, whether it's Islam, Christianity, Judaism, I respect it all. But at the same time, what I love about our Constitution is the separation of church and state, and I feel like that's a line that as of late that is getting blurred, and I think that's a mistake. There should be people mistake America for being a democracy. America is not a democracy. America is a constitutional republic. We have a fucking constitution. We stick to it, and part of that constitution we get our freedom, right? We get with all the amendments that give us our freedom, but at the same time we pledge to the Constitution and the flag. We don't pledge to no freedom. Okay? So let's keep that straight.
And look, I don't know a lot about this topic, okay? I know enough. I know that on the one hand, you got the Palestinians, you got Palestine, okay? On the other hand, you got Israel, the state of Israel, the Israelis, right? And they're at war over some land, and they've been at war forever. This has been going on since your great, 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 great
No, it has only been going on since 1948.
grandfather and his great, 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 great. I mean, forever this has been going on. And
But to answer that, before that, yes, there was other issues with that in that area because, just like every other area, really, people invade areas to influence and power. For example, during the Crusades, the Crusaders took it over, but they didn't just take it over; they took over pretty much the whole area, Lebanon, everything, right, and a lot of other countries with it. Then came the Ottoman Empire that took it over all the way to the fucking Egypt, and then before that, even before Judaism, brother, like the Canaan people, Canaan, Canaan in English, I forgot what they call it. That's those the original people that live there. You know what's funny? Like even the Jews that live there, the people that live there, right? Even the Jews or the Muslims. Most of the Muslims that live there, they're converted from Judaism later on, and they became Muslims. So it's like it doesn't make sense, right? And the whole idea of I belong to this is my homeland. This was promised to me. Like motherfucker, Earth is huge. Nothing was promised to nobody. I'm a strong disbeliever in that. The whole idea of it is just mind-boggling to me. What the fuck you mean shit was promised to you? Who are you to? You know what I mean? Like, just live wherever you live. Like, I live in the United States right now, my number one fucking country. I love this country. I will fucking die for it one day if that's what it needs to. That's what I need to do. You know what I mean? But at the same time, I was born in Iraq. Do I love Iraq? Of course. I love Iraq. And I wish that it prospers, and if I can help it in the future, I will. And at the same time, I want this country to prosper even more. Because this is my home. That's where I'm going to raise my kids. That's where I met my wife. That's where I'm residing. That's where I'm going to be residing for the foreseeable future. So,
speaking of grandfathers, look, a long time ago, I talked to my grandparents about it, man, and they both told me that sadly, like I said, it's been going on forever, and they think it's never going to stop. And because this has been going on forever, it's so deeply rooted in everything over there, it's hard to turn away.
That's the problem, right? The problem with the whole Israel-Palestine issue is both people hate each other so much at the moment that I don't think there is a solution to it. Well, there is a solution. Just nuke the whole area and start fresh. But no, for real, like the whole it's hatred from both sides. And I have Jewish friends, I have Palestinian friends, and I love both. And I have no issues with that. No, I shouldn't say Jewish because you got to separate Judaism from Israel. That's what I hate, right? You can't say, when you say Muslims, you can't just mean Saudi Arabia. There's Muslims everywhere, just like there's Jews everywhere. And it's crazy to me how Jews and Muslims can go to war against each other. That doesn't make sense because we're so fucking similar religiously. If you read the Torah and the Quran and even the First Testament of the Bible, it's the same. You know what I mean? It's literally the same. It's we follow the same ideologies. We follow the same rules. Like, what is the holy books? Stories, commandments, and shit that you should and should not do. That's about it. Like, there isn't nothing much more to it. It's not that fucking hard to understand.
Away from. Now, I have a lot of Palestinian friends. And these are great people. They love, they care, they respect others. Now, I'm not ignorant to the point where I know that they're all like that. I know that there's going to be some bad in there, too. And it's the same thing with Israel, man. I have Jewish friends, and they're awesome. They're great people. Not all of them are going to be like that. And this war completely sucks, and what's going on over there is horrible. And the result is there's a bunch of innocent people just being ripped from this earth. And that isn't something that you ever want to see. But for a guy like...
Bro, I just watched that video of the guy when they struck the hospital and the guy with the IV just being burnt. I couldn't watch more than 5 seconds of it. You know, as a person that lived through the war and all of that, I can't. And honestly, if you watch that and you're like, yeah, good, let them die, go fuck yourself. Like, honestly, you don't belong in a coherent society. You just belong in a fucking jungle somewhere pre-existent of humans that live with the fucking dinosaurs. Hopefully one of them eat your ass.
Asmongold
And
or
not
a
in a
dude
good
like
way.
me, or maybe even for somebody like you who's not from there, who's never been there, who's essentially ignorant
I'll
to the
fuck you
entire
up, man.
situation. We just got to take it at face value and understand, like, look, we don't know. We know this has been going on for a long time. We know there's good and bad on both sides, and the whole thing is horrible. And we wish
He's trying to stay politically correct.
and we hope that it stops. And that's it. That's absolutely it.
They'd be doing the same thing. And how much did they kill? As many as they can. They're not able to kill as many people as Israel because they don't have as many bombs and
Yeah,
as
these
many
are-
weapons. But if they did,
Talking
they'd be
about
doing
the
the same thing.
extremes, man. The extremes on
That's it. Just takes enough. That's right.
Good point by Nick. He is talking about the extremes. So, Israel, the Zionist movement is the extreme, right? And you have Hamas, which is the extreme. By the way, Hamas was kind of funded by Israel, just to let you know. Because at the start, they wanted to counter Al-Fatah, which was, the movement then, and they were getting stronger. So what Israel did, they funded another one, which they started it, and it's Hamas. So that way Hamas can fight Al-Fatah and they can kill each other, and Israel can just watch from the sideline. The same way how ISIS was created to demonize and weaken the part of the Arab countries. If you notice, ISIS barely, almost never. Like, what is the victim of ISIS? 98% of them Muslim. I should tell you something, brother. You know what I mean?
These people are
So
not your
many great people,
allies.
man.
They are not the same as us. They come from an inferior culture that is horrible.
This guy needs to travel. He needs to get out of the room and travel. I feel really, really bad for people like that. I really do. Like, genuinely speaking, I feel really, really bad for people like that. Like, how do you live in your own little bubble and not understand, like, there is something outside of your backyard that is worthy of exploring? I feel bad. I really do. That's sad.
It kills
That's fucking
people
sad.
for their identity, and it is directly antithetical to everything Western values stand for, and it is an inferior culture in all ways.
You
It
are
is
an
that
inferior
simple.
human, buddy.
No, I don't
No, it
feel
is
bad
not.
for them. I don't feel sorry for them. I don't care. I don't support them.
See, for him saying that and being that definitive, like when innocent children and people are dying, and you say that you don't feel bad at all about that, that's just a really crazy hill to die on, man. You got to have some empathy in your heart. You got to be able to feel. That's what makes us human.
I'm sure some of you, and I don't blame you, because they painted the picture about Iraq. I'm sure some of you in 2003, when you saw us dying, you probably celebrated it, and it's okay, because the picture that they painted for you, we're all bad people. We hate the West. We hate everything the West stands for, even though our values, especially when it comes to Republican. That's why I don't understand how a lot of my Arab friends can be Democrats. Because a lot of Republican values perfectly align with Arabic culture, with the Arab culture. I'm not even kidding. Perfectly aligned. Which is hilarious how some Republicans hate Arabs and Muslims and Christians from that region even. Because in reality, a lot of our ethics and values perfectly align with each other. We're heavily dependent on family. We're heavily dependent on respect and all of that. You know what I mean? And it's perfectly aligned with the conservative values. Literally, perfectly aligned.
That's what makes us here, real, now, Can't say things like that. I think that's why he apologized, man. But it's definitely an uncomfortable listen. I like this guy a lot, man. I have a lot of respect for him. So for him to be saying some of these things, man, just
You
it
sound
pisses
retarded
me
to
off
me.
a little bit. I'm not gonna lie to you.
It's that simple. And I understand that this is a very harsh
This is
statement.
fucking amazing.
That's what I think. Yeah.
You should be able to share your opinion, man. He has the right to do that. I also
does,
think
but-
that,
He does, but at the same time, you gotta. It doesn't hurt to educate. You know what I mean? Some people are just, You know, as I said in the beginning, see things black and white.
When you have the audience that he
Things are
does
not
and
black
we
and
do,
white.
speaking to a lot of people, man, you got to do it a
Especially
certain
in
way. And look,
sensitive
I've messed up
subjects.
before in the ways that I've delivered things, and some of my thoughts, man, I've been a little harsh as well. But at the same time, you know, damn, he ain't over there, man. He's got no idea of what's really going on.
Yep. That's right. Even the children? What do you think that they would do to gay children? What do you think they would do?
What the fuck is a gay children? Nah, this guy is stupid. I'm sorry. This guy is stupid. His whole angle is on homosexuality. Bro, just because you support something doesn't mean that everybody else in the world have to support it. Like here, I have gay friends and I have no problem with them. We get along, we have drink and all of that and blah, blah, blah. We move on. I don't have to suck their dick and they don't have to suck mine. Like, what? This is the problem. When you take a sexuality as an identity is an issue. You know what I mean? Like, sexuality should be just between you and your partner in the fucking bedroom or wherever the fuck you end up fucking. But it shouldn't be your whole identity. You can't revolve your whole identity on sexuality. You can't revolve your whole identity on religion. You can't evolve your whole identity on something you believe in. There is many things in the world. You gotta open up your fucking horizon.
Oh, that's right. They'd kill them. No, you're not going to emotionally manipulate me into saying some things are okay. They'd kill them.
Very emotionally manipulated into
No, people
hatred.
are terrible. Yeah, rocks. Yep, exactly. Toss them off a roof. Yeah, it's not a question. It's an inferior culture. If I went somewhere in the...
You know what's funny? All cultures did that. Tossing off the roof and shit. Or hitting them with rocks. Or burning them alive. Or cutting their head off. Everybody did that. Including Christianity. Now, whether they did it 100 years ago or 1,000 years ago, still, it was done. Doesn't make it any less fucked up.
In the Middle East, I would respect their laws. I'd respect their culture. I would not, shit on them. But...
Then he proceeds to shit on them.
I'm in their place, right? I don't really take my shoes off whenever I come into my own house.
You might not
but
wanna go
I come
to
into somebody else's house, I'll take my shoes off. I got no
might not
problem
want to go
with that.
anywhere near there, brother.
But at the same time,
I'm gonna be honest.
I don't want that here, and
I actually disagree with Nick. He should go. I really hope he does go. I really hope. Because he will be shocked and he will feel retarded. Because I would love, fuck it. If you see this video, buddy, and you want to go to Iraq, I'm more than happy to take you, walk around with you, and I promise your safety in front of the fucking world. I would love to take you around, show you the fucking country. I will take you to a church. I'll take you to a mosque. I'll take you to any fucking worship place. I'll take you to a bar, and I'll take you to a place of worship. I'll take you to the streets, walk around, eat street food, eat real food, sit in a restaurant. Just introduce you to the whole culture. Take you to my own house in Baghdad. We actually have a house in Baghdad in Mansour, and I'll take you to it, my sister's house, and we can sit there, eat a family meal, all of that. I want to introduce you to it. I would love that. And it's an open invitation. Come through.
I don't want to support it. That's a lot of assumptions. It's not an assumption. It's a fact. That's it. We should build churches, asked to change their religion.
I mean, look, the things that he's talking about, do these things happen? They could. They probably have. Okay? But
Shut up,
say
man.
that
Let me
they
hear
are.
what he
Your
said.
area? What are you mad for? Yeah, I don't think so, man. Talk about...
To say that they are, to say that they do is crazy.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. Talk about gaming and shut the fuck up. It's not...
He said build churches to change the religion. One of the most successful countries in the world right now are Muslim countries. UAE, Saudi Arabia, fucking, Qatar. Iraq is on the rise. Turkey, majority Muslim. Indonesia, Malaysia, like whatever. I'm sure he doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. Egypt, Morocco, Algeria. Bro, the list goes on. Yeah, my man doesn't know anything outside of his room and whatever the algorithm is feeding him.
Your area? What are you mad for? You're mad I'm talking about something that's going to hurt your feelings?
Let me guess. He thinks all Mexicans are cartels too. Is that the case?
Is that it? And I know that I know it's sad. I guess it's saying, but not everyone's the same in Palestine. Yeah. Are all gay people the same? No, they're not.
Going back
you respect someone else's house. You expect the same in return. Same goes for countries. Absolutely. Let's get rid of control of the Western world and let them deal with each other. Exactly. I don't want to be involved with that at all.
You know, my father had a saying: if you see, because sharks don't eat each other, right? If you see shark eating a shark, it's because the United States and Israel are right underneath him, causing them to eat each other, and that's historically factual. Look at South America, for example. How many coups that we led. Look at every part of the world. Look at Iraq. That's why I don't want to get into it. I was going to make a separate video about that, but I don't know if I should. Let me know.
I know plenty of Muslims that respect gays. Well, I'm not talking about Muslims. I'm talking about people in Palestine. The truth is...
But you just did. You just did. You generalized. And now you're back.
I agree with that. I mean, I don't know about our involvement with things like that. We can't fix it. There's nothing that we're going to do that's going to fix it. I definitely agree with that.
That's what they do over there. So no, I'm not going to support a group of people that would be the ones doing the genociding if they had the power to do it.
He's never been over there, man.
I'm sorry to say, I'm not. I don't have any sympathy for them. Wow. I'm sure at some degree there are people that are caught in the crossfire. This is sad, but at the end of the day, this is an immoral.
Also, just to piggyback on the Sharia law thing, I just remembered something. Just because a group of people, like ISIS, for example, they say they use Sharia law, but the things they do has nothing to do with Allah or any religion, burning people and cutting the heads off and all of that. That has nothing to do with any religion. They're just like the cartel. They're just fucking horrible people that should be burnt alive in return. But yeah.
Moral evil culture.
Wow.
I truly believe that. And I don't have sympathy for people that...
Chet, don't listen to this guy. Please, I beg you, man. I've met so many Palestinian people, so many of these guys, man. What a beautiful culture it can be.
He has
truly.
Just hatred.
Beautiful people, beautiful.
Where do you think the fucking hummus came from?
Food, great culture. It's not what he thinks that it is. It's not.
Where do you think the fucking kunafa came from?
I grew up in Dearborn. I grew up around this culture. I know all about it. Now, I haven't been to Palestine, but I know a lot about their people. There's extremes on both sides, and what he's saying probably does happen, but it's the extreme. And every culture has their extremes.
They respect gays because they have to. If they go back home, it'd be a different story.
Well said. Every culture has their extremes. Well said. Good shit.
Absolutely. It's not even a question. And I know some people are going to get their feelings hurt about this, but you know what? Look what's happening in the UK. Look what's happening in all of the other countries.
Yeah, the UK is happening because there is people like you and there is extremists. The Muslim extremist. I'm against anything extreme. I'm against far right. I'm against far left. I'm against extreme Muslims. I'm against extreme Christians. Anything extreme doesn't live in modern society. Will just harm it. Religion is something between you and your God. You don't have to fucking be a preacher and force your way of thinking on anybody. I strongly believe that. And that goes for any religion. The same thing with sexuality. I strongly believe that. You don't have to force it on me. I don't have to force it on you. We all live along. We can share things in common. We can disagree on things and discuss it in a civil way. This is not a civil way. This is the opposite of civil way. This is spewing hatred. This is misunderstanding of a whole situation. This is misinformation. That's what he's spewing.
Countries that are controlled with these kinds of laws. They're all the same. What is the common denominator? You can't let...
UK is the common denominator. Historically, they divided that region and fucked it all up. UK is the common denominator. I guess it's a great man once said, it just depends how far back in history you need to go. It's like people that hate on United States. They're like, oh, genocidal. They killed the Indians. Well, what the fuck you think the Indians were doing to each other before the white man and everyone else came here? They were living happily ever after? the tribes weren't killing each other. It's human nature, man.
People rule with
do
any
that.
sort of religion.
Yeah, people
It's
do
all
that.
bad. Thank you for saying that. I know, it's crazy. Crazy, crazy, crazy how people can't understand that. 90% of your thinking is facts, 10% is assumptions. Yeah, well, if you
Whoever said that is an idiot. Not even 90%. Maybe I'll give him 12%. Everything else was fucking bullshit.
were 90% right, would you go with that or not? Would you rather go with 90% facts and 10% assumptions, or 90% assumptions and 10% facts? Yeah, it's not my it's not my fight. And so yeah, I see people that post those two flags. I do not give a shit. I immediately write them off as a
I can agree with that. You know what I mean? But everything else he said is...
virtue signaling
I agree with
card
that.
whose opinions should never be taken seriously,
with
and I
all
think you
that.
guys should do the exact same. It's about supporting civilians. Well, who do you think is doing and enforcing the laws? You think it's all just like some other group of people? No, that's not true. The laws there are an outcome of the people that live there. If you look at Palestine and the people over there, those people were celebrating when 9/11 happened.
Well, at the time, they were still getting bombed and murdered by U.S. weapons. You gotta look at every situation from every perspective. Sometimes you gotta step back and look through the lens of why people are thinking like that. Everything cause and effect. If you haven't watched Jack Ryan season 1, the reason why I love this show is the only show that showed why a terrorist becomes a terrorist. They don't just come out of the fucking mother's vagina and be like, oh, today I'm gonna kill America, which is me, basically. But, kill me, basically. But they're like, why did they get to that point? Maybe when they were kids, they saw their mother and father and all of that get bombed to shits. Maybe that put hatred in their heart. Have you thought about that? Cause and effect, baby. Everything in the world is cause and effect.
What? Are you kidding me? Are you fucking kidding me? Give me a break. Give me a fucking break. I remember it. Yeah. No. I'm sorry. Yeah, don't be an idiot. Yeah, it's not even close.
Yeah, that's very interesting, to say the least. Well, I'll tell you what. I already said my thoughts throughout the video. Keep an open mind. Don't hate me for my thoughts of my experiences. If you have something constructive to say it. Otherwise, if you just come in with hates, I appreciate you if you can just fuck off. I posted a video about Kamala and Trump, and I lost 6 subscribers. As a small channel, I only have like 100 some subscribers. You know, I just hope people can open their mind. You'd be surprised how many things that we can agree on than disagree on. Don't judge somebody by just listening to them for 30 minutes or holy shit, I've been talking for an hour. But yeah, like keep an open mind ultimately. Anyways, share, like, and subscribe. Fucking travel the world. There is a lot of good things out there. Not all people are bad. Not all Muslims are bad. Not all Jews are bad. Not all Christians are bad. Not all Hindus are bad. Doesn't matter. There is bad in every religion. There is bad in every culture. There is bad in every fucking corner of the world. At the same time, just look at the good and put out good and hope for the best for everyone. Hit the fucking gym.